morning, everybody. Just wanted to drop something on y'all real quick as you are on your way to work, or as I'm on my way. But just wanted to drop on you the importance of story. The importance of story. When I was a pastor, when I did Bible study, when I was starting it up, as I was starting my pastoral ministry, before we even got into the books of the Bible or specific lessons on specific books or whatever, or units, the first unit that I started was on foundations, biblical foundations. And so I wanted to make sure that we had our foundations straight, and that the foundation was laid for us to be able to really dig deep into some things. And so one of the first things that I did in our foundation lessons was really nailing down the fundamental tenets of the gospel. Okay, there's 6 fundamental tenets of the gospel story. All right, you have the Immaculate Conception of Mary by the Holy Spirit. You have so you have the virgin birth, and then you have the sinless life. That's 3, and then you have the death on the cross. That's 4, and then you have 5 is resurrection from the dead, right? And then 6 is ascension into heaven. So you have those 6 tenets, the 6 basic parts of the gospel message, and then everything else that we can teach from the gospel, and every other story that we can tell is based off of those 6 things. The people who are the number 1 public speakers in the world, they have their story down. They have their message down, and they might have a specific message that they have for a specific audience, whoever they are talking to, or whatever their assignment is for that day or that evening, whenever they're speaking. But in that presentation, whatever it is, at some point in time, you're going to hear that basic message. Or somebody that I follow every single day and listen to and watch every single day is Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk and Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. And both of those guys, you're talking about speakers in the world, they are among the top, all right? And they both had their story nailed down, all right? If you hear Gary Vaynerchuk talk, what is he going to talk about? You know what I'm saying? But he's talking about the fact that he was born in the former USSR, and he came to America when I think he was about about 4 or something like that, between 4 and 6, and he couldn't speak English at first, and his falling in love with the New York Jets, that was a lot about his introduction into the English language, because that's kind of really how he learned some things. And then he hated school, you know what I'm saying? And so he punted school early. He literally says the words, "I punted school." And so he did that early. And he realized that he was an entrepreneur from the very beginning, had lemonade stand franchise in different neighborhoods at the age of 9, and was trading baseball cards as a teenager, and then worked in his dad's liquor store. Went to college because his mother made him go. Didn't really learn anything when he was there, but when he graduated, he went right into his dad's liquor store, worked there for a decade, built the business up, left, started VaynerMedia, and the rest is history. And that same story, he tells it all the time. E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, what is he going to talk about all the time? He's going to talk about how he was a high school dropout, eating out of trash cans, and sleeping in abandoned buildings. And then he's going to talk about how, he eventually got it together, got in school, and but it took him 12 years to get his bachelor's, and then he got his master's, and then he got his PhD. So he went from GED to PhD. So if you can do it, so if he can do it, then you can do it as well. And that same story, whatever he's talking about, whoever he's talking to, he tells that story, that fundamental story, all the time. It's your anchor story. You have to have an anchor story in whatever it is that you're talking about, because that's really what grabs people. That's really what makes you relatable to people. We have to really get down and nail down the anchor story when we're talking about the gospel message, because when we fully figure out what it is that we're trying to convey, then we are able to really pass along that message, and we're really able to tell it in a very powerful fashion. And so it's so very important that we get the story down, and story is one thing that we're going to be talking about extensively at the 2-day workshop that I'm doing in February 2018 at Ecumenical Theological Seminary. And I'm so very excited about it. Every time I talk about it, I say the word excited, because I am, because I cannot sufficiently convey to you, how important this is to me. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. And, I just believe that, we can really, really build the kingdom if we learn how to tell this story at a greater level and in new and innovative ways, but sticking to some old fundamental tenets as well. But you're gonna learn a lot more about that if you join me, if you rock with me in February. And so if you go to canyouhearmenow.xyz, canyouhearmenow.xyz, I want you to learn more about what I'm doing. It's gonna bless you. It's really gonna bless you. And I just pray that that you will want to be a part of this, and it's gonna be a worthy investment. But I just wanted to share that with you today, the importance of story. And I just pray that you're blessed today. And I will talk to you very soon.